Breeze notebook.
I look like I'm undercover. So I'm currently on my way to the park so I can go film this Q&A. I was just at the coffee shop and I was just doing some work for a program that I'm a part of. Yeah, I'm currently on my way there now, and we're gonna go film this Q&A in the park. So I'll see you in a second. Okay? Okay. Alrighty, so in my last video, I asked you all to just ask me some questions down in the comments and also on my Breeze Notebook Instagram, and you guys sent in a lot of great questions, so we're gonna answer them today. So I split them up. I have my little handy dandy computer. Split them up into personal life questions, academic questions, and then career questions and stuff like that. So let's get started. So the first question says, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Okay, so right now I'm gonna be turning 21 in a month. So 10 years from now I'll be 31. I would say by 31 I want to be practicing as a genetic counselor, and maybe seeing if I want to get my PhD or my MD so I can become a medical geneticist. Who knows where God's gonna take me, but that's where I want to be career-wise. I think family-wise, I want to hopefully have started a family. I hope that I'm married by then. I just see myself with complete peace and happiness in 10 years. I feel like I'm on that path now, getting more joy in my life, less stress, less worrying. So I hope I'm just flourishing. My curls are beautiful and long. And yeah, that's where I hope to be in 10 years. Thank you for that question. Okay, so the next question comes from Lovely Amore, my friend Amore. I'll leave the link to her channel down below in the description box. She commented, amazing, can't wait to see all the fun content highlighting your journey. Question for you is, at times when you may need an extra push, what motivates you? I would say in times when I get in like a little rut or a little funk where I don't feel motivated or productive, I have to really clear my head. So whether that's music or trying to just make sure that my space is clean, or getting up and doing my work in a new space, I found that like when I'm really not feeling like I want to do my work or I don't feel productive, I'll often just sit in one space and just sit there and not do work for maybe like 30 minutes and just scroll on TikTok or like Reels. So I had to get my behind up and go to a different space where I might feel more motivated. It's a coffee shop in my town that I go to now. So when I really want to make sure that I'm staying motivated and getting my work done, I go there, do my work, and then come back home and I feel a lot more productive because I did my work in a new space. So yeah, that's what I do. Thank you again, Amor, for your question. So the next question comes from Who's Myriad. So that's my little brother. He has a channel. I'll also leave the link to his channel in the description box below. His question says, what are your goals? That's a very broad question, Elijah. But I would say like a life goal is just to be more joyous and happy and at peace with my life. Just really loving myself and being secure in knowing who I am, knowing my self-worth. I think that comes with just life in general and new experiences. I would say that that's one of my biggest goals, just to get to know myself over time and just be really secure in everything about myself. So yeah, thanks for your question, Elijah. Alrighty, so the next question is, again from my brother. It says, do you enjoy watching Paw Patrol in HDR or 4K resolution? I don't watch Paw Patrol, but if I did, I don't even know what HDR is. I'm gonna just say I was watching a 4K resolution, I guess. I guess whatever's the brightest, best type of resolution, I'd watch Paw Patrol in that resolution. Thanks for that question, Elijah. I really appreciate it. Okay, so another question comes from Afia H. She says, when's the natural hair tutorial dropping? Well, girl, I actually did recently get a haircut, so I got bangs and layers in my hair, so I've really been learning how to really take care of my hair better and find ways to style my hair. I'll definitely post a video updating y'all on how I do my hair. So that'll probably be posted within maybe next month, maybe the month of September when I'm back on campus. So I'll maybe film a hair tutorial there. Thank you for your question, Afia. All right, so next we're gonna get into the academic questions that you all sent in. So the first one is, any advice for college freshmen looking to find their study routine or study methods? I would say the biggest thing is to know that sometimes the study methods that you used in high school might not work for college. I would say in high school, studying was just a lot easier for me. I think classes just in general just were easier for me to pick up on. Obviously, I did have some hard classes, but I would say generally studying was not that big of a hassle for me. When it came to college work, that's a whole nother story. So I would say the biggest thing when you get to college is making sure that you take really, really good detailed notes, but also making sure that you quiz yourself on that material that you're taking notes on. If you're able to quiz yourself and get the answers right, then you should be able to do well or score well on the test you end up taking. So that's the thing I would say for that. When it comes to having a study routine, you really want to make sure that you look at all of your classes and the free time that you have set up for studying. So I would suggest using Google Calendar and just have all your classes and all your responsibilities laid out on there. Whatever free time you have, that's when you want to set up some time to study and review your content. So the content that you're learning from class. I think the biggest thing is after each lecture, you want to spend at least an hour or so reviewing what you learned. Because I think sometimes we go to lecture, we leave, we go eat, go to sleep, and then all the material is out of our minds the next day. So I would say make sure that you review that content that you learned from lecture like right afterwards. I think that was the biggest tip. So number one is review content right after class. So maybe spend like an hour after lecture and like review it. And then use Google Calendar to like set up your life in general and set up some time for studying. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, next question is, what is the most interesting course you've taken and why? Okay, I'll make this a two-part answer. So one of my science courses that I loved was genetics, because I'm just really passionate about genetics in general. That's what I want to go into in the future. I want to be a genetic counselor. As far as like some of the other courses I've taken, I really like this African American Studies course that I took that was focusing on just Black women that were enslaved in the times that slavery was present in the United States. Well, I would say that was my most interesting course outside of my science courses, because I got to read a lot more about different stories that a lot of times we don't really hear about or learn about in high school. I think we always learn like the stereotypical Black history information, but it's not as like detailed as we'd want it to be. But I think that was one of my favorite courses. It was just really great to learn more about the stories of different enslaved Black women, because a lot of the times we don't learn about those stories, because as we know, stories about Black women in general, especially historical stories, are just not really as commonly talked about. So I really like that course. Thank you for that question. Okay, let's see what another academic question we have. Do you prefer digital or traditional note-taking, and why? I would say digital note-taking I really, really love, because I think people that know me know that I really love notebooks, which is why this channel is called Bree's Notebook. I really like digital note-taking because, for one, I'm not wasting trees, because I go through a lot of notebooks. It's crazy. I feel like when I was having my paper notes, it would kind of be hard to like transfer what organism I was talking about if it's like just in words. I like to have pictures, if that makes sense. So I would say that's a really key feature that I love about digital note-taking, is that it's a lot more visual. You can add more colors to your notes. You can label things, highlight things in different ways. Obviously, you can do that on paper, but I just like having pictures of whatever I'm studying next to my notes, so that I'm able to like remember it and study it more. Another question is, what works best for you when it comes to taking notes? I would say the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you're able to write notes in a way that's clear to you. So the way that your professor might be speaking to you about certain information, using bigger words, sometimes you're not going to really know what that is. It's really important to really write the information in your own words in a way that's easy for you to remember. I would say making sure that all of your topics are specific with the information that you're writing down, and it's easy for you to understand and read later when you go back to your notes. The question that this person had is, do you use any specific note-taking strategies? I would say for my note-taking strategies, I really just like to have the topic down, and then I kind of summarize what the topic is under that, like the name of the topic, and then I put more key points and more detailed notes under that summarized topic. So for example, if I'm talking about trees, I would just put trees and then say what a tree is, and then under that put more detailed information about the characteristic of a tree or different types of trees and stuff like that. So that's an example of like what I do for my science courses. But I would say for more of those like English courses and sociology courses and stuff like that, you want to just make sure that you type your notes concisely, that it's not like too all over the place, and it's kind of easy for you to refer back to. Okay, now I think we've gone on to the career questions. So I think we only had one career-based question, and that question says, what interests you the most about genetic counseling? So for those that do not well, for those that do not know, I had an internship this summer where I was one of 3 interns that were selected out of a group of over 200 applicants for a genetic counseling summer internship at the University of Pennsylvania and also the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So I got to spend some time there in person and shadow some genetic counselors and medical geneticists within like cancer genetics, adult genetics, neurogenetics. We learned about that, whole exome sequencing, whole genome sequencing and stuff like that. So those are some topics that we covered. Overall, from that experience and what I've learned about genetic counseling, what makes me most interested in it is that they really pair psychosocial skills with understanding genetic material and genetic content. When you're a genetic counselor, basically your role is to help counsel people through different genetic conditions that they may have, whether it's themselves or their children or a family member. Basically, a genetic counselor does a medical history of the patient and of their family. So they do a family history, and then they draw out a pedigree, and that basically gets some more information about what could have possibly caused that condition. Is it a familial thing? Is it just something that was random? So they basically help them find specific genetic testing that could be specific for their condition. And I just really like that it's a pairing of helping people and speaking to people and learning more about their family history while also giving them knowledge about genetics. Really, when you're a genetic counselor, your role is to kind of break down all of that complicated language into something that's more easily understandable for people that might not have a background on like science and certain science terms. That's what I love the most about it. Yeah, so I think that's it. Thank y'all so much for joining me today and giving me some questions to answer. Let me know down below what other video ideas or anything else that you'd like to see from me on this channel. Make sure you like this video. Again, comment down below some video ideas that you want to see on this channel. Make sure that you subscribe, share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in my channel. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.